What if I told you Marvel's about to do the one thing they swore they would never, ever do? Signs are pointing to a brand new Black Panther, and today we're going to unpack one of the biggest, most sensitive mysteries in the entire MCU. All hail the king, right? But which king? Okay, let's get into it. So let's just get right to the big question on everyone's mind. Is Marvel Studios secretly recasting the role of T'Challa? For years, the official answer from the studio was a hard, definitive no. But lately, a whole bunch of leaks, some very interesting changes in what they're saying, and a little bit of multiverse magic might be telling a completely different story.
So where does this all start? Well, it kicks off with a leak, a really big one. This piece of art popped up online for like a hot minute back in March of 2025. It came from a legit artist who's worked with Marvel, and it was scrubbed from the internet almost immediately. But you know how it goes. Once it's out there forever. And this one single image sent the fans into an absolute firestorm.
Okay, let's break down exactly what we're looking at here. The artist, Mus Grizzy, posted this as concept art for the upcoming Avengers Doomsday. And the setting, I mean, come on, that is 100% Wakanda. You've got the waterfalls, the iconic Panther statue, all of it. But the figure in the suit, the king, that's the real story. It's not some generic comic book face, no way. Fans online almost instantly identified him as British actor Damson Idris, and here is why that is a huge, huge deal. Marvel doesn't just do that. They don't just use a random actor's face for concept art unless there have been, let's just say, some serious conversations behind the scenes. All right, so leaked art, a specific actor, case closed, right? The recasting. Well, not so fast, because this piece of evidence runs smack into a brick wall. A promise that Marvel made very publicly and very passionately not too long ago. You have to remember, after the absolutely heartbreaking passing of Chadwick Boseman, Marvel's top boss, Kevin Feige, was very clear. He stood up and said that Chadwick's performance as T'Challa was iconic, that it went beyond just another version of the character. The message was unmistakable. To them, Chadwick was T'Challa for our generation, and to honor him, they would not recast the part, period.
And if you thought that was final, a year later, one of Marvel's top producers, Nate Moore, basically hammered the nail in the coffin. He said, and I quote, "You will not see T'Challa in the MCU 616 universe." Now pay very close attention to those words, 616 universe. That's the official name for the main timeline, the one we've been watching all along. At the time, it felt like the door was slammed shut, locked, and the key was thrown away for good.
But time changes things, doesn't it? The official line was firm, but other voices started to join the conversation. In late 2021, Chadwick Boseman's own brother said he believed Chadwick would have wanted the character of T'Challa to go on. And then you fast forward to February 2025, the very same Nate Moore, who said you will not see T'Challa, suddenly changes his tune to, "I'll never say never." Whoa, that is a massive shift, from an absolute no to a very open, well, maybe.
So what gives? How can Marvel keep its promise to not recast our T'Challa, while at the same time we're seeing concept art of a new T'Challa? How can both things be true? Well, the answer is the biggest get-out-of-jail-free card in all of modern storytelling, the multiverse. It's the ultimate loophole. Just think about it. Marvel has been training us for this exact moment for years. The Loki series introduced us to variants, different versions of the same character, different actors. Then Spider-Man No Way Home made $1 bazillion proving 3 different guys could all be Peter Parker. And Doctor Strange 2 was just a parade of heroes from other realities. So let's go back to what Nate Moore said. He was so specific, no T'Challa in the 616 universe. He didn't say anything about a T'Challa from Universe 838 or Earth 1218 showing up, did he? It was a brilliantly worded statement that left the back door wide open from the very beginning. Okay, so if a new T'Challa is coming from somewhere out there in the multiverse, let's talk about the man whose face is at the center of all this. Just who is Damson Idris?
Now, you might not know the name right off the bat, but trust me, this guy is the real deal. He was the lead in the fantastic FX drama Snowfall for 6 seasons. He's already done the weird sci-fi thing in Black Mirror and The Twilight Zone. And get this, he already has an MCU connection. He co-starred with our Captain America Anthony Mackie in a movie. And right now he's getting all kinds of awards for his role opposite Brad Pitt in that F1 movie. So yeah, the man has the acting chops to be king.
But honestly, the most telling clue might have come from the man himself. He was on the Today Show, and the host put him right on the spot. Point blank. Yes or no, are you the new Black Panther? And his response was this perfectly evasive yes, no. So the host called him on it and asked, okay, but if they asked, would you say yes? And his answer? A much simpler yes. Okay, that is classic. I've signed a Marvel NDA and I will be vaporized if I say the truth speak. We've seen it 100 times before.
Okay, so let's just assume for a second that this is all happening. A T'Challa from the multiverse is on his way. What in the world does that mean for the Wakanda we already know? And more importantly, what does it mean for Shuri, our current Black Panther?
Some details have supposedly leaked about the third movie, maybe titled Shadows of Wakanda. But just look at that plot description. Explore Wakanda's vulnerability after T'Challa's death. Hello? Didn't we just watch that movie? It was called Wakanda Forever. Yeah, this feels like a total smokescreen, a generic description meant to hide a much, much crazier story.
And this is where the drama could get really good. Don't forget where we left things. M'Baku is sitting on the throne as king, and Shuri has earned the mantle of the Black Panther. So now, what happens when you drop in a variant T'Challa, a man who, in his world, was born to be both king and panther? Does he challenge M'Baku for the throne? And can you imagine that first conversation with his little sister who's now wearing his suit? Awkward. Or maybe it doesn't have to be a conflict. Maybe there's a different way. We could see Shuri and this new T'Challa sharing the mantle of Black Panther. It's not crazy. It's happened in the comics for years, and we might be about to see the same thing with Sam Wilson and Steve Rogers both being Captain America. It's kind of an elegant solution, right? It honors Shuri's entire journey while still bringing this beloved character back. And that brings us to the biggest idea of all. Because this decision to bring back T'Challa as a variant, it might have ripple effects that go way beyond Wakanda. This might not just be about one character. This could be a test run for the entire future of the MCU.
You've heard of a trial balloon, right? It's a term from politics. You sort of leak an idea out into the wild to see how people react before you really commit to it. You know, you accidentally let some concept art slip, you have an actor give a cagey answer in an interview. You're basically just testing the waters to see if they're warm. So why would Marvel need to test the waters? Because they are planning something absolutely massive. Kevin Feige himself has talked about a reset coming after the big Secret Wars movie. He even confirmed they're thinking about recasting some of the most iconic roles there are. And he specifically named Steve Rogers and Tony Stark.
And that is the real endgame here. Recasting T'Challa is an incredibly sensitive, delicate thing to do because of Chadwick Boseman's profound legacy. If Marvel can navigate this successfully, if the fans are willing to embrace a new actor as a variant T'Challa, that it proves the audience is ready for anything. It is the ultimate high-stakes test to see if we, the fans, will accept a new Iron Man down the line.
So all of this leaves us with one final, very complex question. Is using a multiverse loophole the right way to honor the legacy of an actor and a character who meant so much to so many people? It's a way for the story of T'Challa to continue for sure, but it's a move that Marvel and all of us are going to be grappling with for a long time. What do you think?